night I watched Ralph Breaks the Internet, which, sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, a film I had really pretty zero interest in watching, but since I'm currently subscribed to Disney Plus, I take advantage of watching films that I wasn't planning on necessarily seeing otherwise. So, with that said, like, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. I mean, the issue I have with these films is they all just kind of feel the same in broad sense. As I was watching it, I was just kind of, couldn't shake the feeling that Ralph's motivations were purely just so that they could have a plot revolving around his insecurity and stuff. Like, does that fit with Ralph established in Wreck-It Ralph? I can't remember. Maybe I have to rewatch it. And, that's fine. It's a mild annoyance. Who cares? Whatever. There's a couple bits that I really liked. One of them is this bit, which hopefully is on the screen now. Also liked the car chase through the kind of the Grand Theft Auto style car race thing that they visit. Very kind of Fast and Furious inspired, so it's appropriate that Gal Gadot is playing one of the characters in that. So what's Ralph Breaks the Internet? Quick summary. He and Vanellope, I should say, Princess Vanellope, been hanging out. Things have been going swell, but Vanellope feels like something is missing from her life, whereas Ralph is quite content to just be doing the same thing every day. A new thing is plugged in called a Wi-Fi, which enables them to go to the internet. And because of stuff that Ralph has done, Vanellope's game is broken, and they need to find a part on eBay so that Vanellope's game is not thrown out and she's homeless. And then so they go into the internet to try work out how to solve that problem. And there's character development and growth, and we all kind of learn something about not being too needy and stuff like that, blah blah blah. So as far as Disney, I don't know if it's Disney Pixar or if it's just Disney or what. It's fine. It was good entertainment, but I don't really care to see it again. I don't care not to either, I suppose. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I enjoyed it. I think I'm underplaying it, because I did have a good time watching it. But, you've seen one, you've seen them all. So, just driving home from Goma Cinematheque, where I watched one short film and one especially long film. Short one was called Emotion, and then something to do with Dracula in brackets. And the second one was called Eros plus Massacre. But it should have been called Eros plus Massacre equals boredom and frustration. Anyway, the first one was just a 40-minute kind of experimental film by the director of House, and it really just it's obvious once you've seen House. It's obvious that this film would be by the same director. It was a little frustrating. Like it wasn't strong narratively. Had a lot of just really quick shots, like less than a second, like just half a second, and then maybe a couple of seconds, and then half a second. I mean, it was fine. It was, 40-minute experimental film. I'm not really expecting to enjoy it, so I can't complain too much about that. It's kind of, I guess, about oh, possum! Did I kill it? No, I think it survived. Okay, good. Yeah, okay, so it's meant to be about a girl, Eri, and another girl, Sasaki, who are in love, but don't really have much to do with that. There's stuff with this other guy in a park, and maybe something to do with Sasaki's mother and father and their relationship, and Eri's relationship with the mother. It's like, it doesn't have a story, it doesn't have a plot. It's just an excuse to try experimental things, and so in that sense it was a total success for the filmmaker, just not necessarily a total success for the audience. So Eros Plus Massacre was a kind of story in two timelines. One in early 20th century Japan, late 1916-ish, possibly up to 1928, and then set in the 1960s. So there's a lady called Noe who was I guess a voice in the early feminist movement in Japan, or something like that. I don't know if it's based on real person or anything, but this is what the movie's saying. She was she kind of came from the country and started writing for this feminist magazine, and she had multiple lovers, had multiple children, and was killed. So this film is kind of exploring her story, but then also having this modern part of the story, which I thought was to do with Noe's daughter and her exploring her mother, but it can't be because the maths doesn't add up. It's too big an age difference. So maybe her grandmother is Noe. But the modern bit just made no sense at all. It didn't seem to actually have anything. Oh, that's not strictly true. Didn't seem to have nearly anything to do with the Noe story in the past. There's some mentions, there's some kind of reading from books, there's some kind of little bit, but her actual kind of story it didn't even seem thematically relevant. And it's just some annoying young guy she seems to be attracted to, but like for what reason I can't tell. He's just annoying. Why are you hanging out with this guy? Anyway, so I mean, this is what the entire film is. It's just frustrating. It's just fractured narratively, and you're not really sure what is happening. like, I think the story of Noe could have been quite interesting, though I'm not sure I actually would have enjoyed it as well, because it seems like it's quite depressing in a lot of it. But just that story of, you know, her life and exploring the ideals and stuff she would have been living by, I think would have been an interesting story. But unfortunately, we got this exploration of it, and it wasn't. Yeah. But let's not focus on the negative, because I mean, I ended up hating the film just because it was so long and it had so many frustrating alternate kind of versions of the same events, and it's just just tell me the story and let's get it over and done with. But it's stunning, visually stunning. It was really good to watch. Like, just so much beautiful framing. Especially the stuff set in the past. The modern stuff, it was good. But it wasn't as strong for me as the stuff set in around 1916, kind of Noe's actual story, not the story of Aiko, I think her name was, and whoever it is that she's talking to. What else is there to say about it? Nothing. I hated it. Just because it was just so long and it really lacked clarity narratively. Visually beautiful, but that's not enough to sustain over 2.5 hours. Just under 3, I think it was. But yeah, like 2 hours 50 minutes maybe. So frustrating. One final thing I do want to say is I found, even though it was quite simple, like her white blouse and black skirt, Aiko, if that's her name, I really liked her look. Her haircut was nice, and just the simple but stylish outfit she was wearing was nice as well. Alright, that's enough. I've wasted enough time on that. Right. Have you ever noticed how life just sucks sometimes? I had a crappy day. Anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I just watched a film called Music, directed and written by Sia, who I'm sure most of us are aware is an Australian musician who's achieved some international success with like Chandelier's obviously a great song. Anyway, we don't need to talk about Sia, so pop hits. Let's talk about her movie. Yeah, I was really pretty excited for this. The trailers made me think of the film Dancer in the Dark by Björk, except I assumed it was going to have a happy ending. And I love Dancer in the Dark. It's a really good film that I've only watched once, and probably will only ever watch once, because it's just devastating at the end. But this is not as good as Dancer in the Dark, but it does have some really great moments in it. Yeah, so I kind of started off promising, and then I was kind of just going along for the ride, but not really digging it all that much. But then by the final third, when, you know, everything starts to collapse and go terribly wrong, and then we claw our way out of it, I was quite happy. and a little teary at the end. So it's about this girl who obviously has some kind of sensory kind of stuff going on, you know, like she's on the autism scale, I guess. They don't explicitly say that's what it is, but yeah, anyway, some kind of what's the language we use these days? Anyway, and her grandmother, who she's staying with, dies, so the authorities get in touch with her half sister, who is just a total mess. And it's, you know, the heartwarming story of them healing each other, as it were. Or Kate Hudson, the sister character, you know, finding healing by looking after music, and kind of falling in love with the next door neighbour, who is really familiar, but either I missed his name in the credits or I didn't recognise it. I think I just didn't recognise it because I don't know him, but he looks really familiar, so I'll have to look that up. Sorry for not knowing, but you know, that's what Google's for. Or use Bing. Let's not give all our money to the giant tech companies. So I don't know if I recommend it. I don't know if I need to watch it again. But like I said, the ending really did bring a bit of a tear to the eye. The other thing I thought was really good about it was there's this young, I guess South American guy who's been adopted by a couple of Korean. He's a bit beefy guy, a bit fat. His father wants him to be a boxer, so he's kind of related through that, but also yeah, he helps music. Music is the name of the daughter with the issues, the younger sister with all the mental issues going on. He kind of yeah, he's kind of her friend, and helps in certain ways throughout the day. He's got the, you know, the soul of a poet. He's an artist. Yeah, sweet guy who's boxing because his dad wants him to box, but he'd rather be a dancer. Anyway, spoilers, sorry. There's a bit where he dies, and there's a great bit where music is processing this in the form of, you know, you see a song and dance number. And I thought that was really effective. A lot of the dance and song and dance stuff is, I don't know, I mean, there's something manic about Sia's kind of visual, you know, you've seen it in the video clips, you know, to have, not the entire movie this way, but to have a lot of these video clips, I'm not sure it totally works as an interpretation of music's kind of inner life. It does to an extent, but I'm not sure it's entirely convincing all the way through. But anyway, like I'm saying, this one particular scene really did work for me. Yeah, so like, yeah, it's good stuff. There's good stuff in it, but is it enough to be a great film? Is it enough to be a film that I want to watch again? I don't know. Probably not. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. And for the eagle-eyed viewers at home, yes, I am wearing the same shirt. I just, you know, it looks good on me. And so why not? You know, I didn't sweat in it that much last night, I don't think. Oh, hello. You just caught me finishing putting the legs on my chairs. So
But we're not here to look at my chair. We're here to talk about what movies I watched last night. So I watched 2 films, Blood Rage and Ready or Not. Blood Rage comes with 2 different versions of the film. I decided to go with the original cut of the movie rather than the slightly extended one, just to see what the theatrical version was like. And I'll probably rewatch the extended one in a few weeks' time. So Blood Rage, it's actually pretty good little slasher film. It's a little confusing because so it's called Blood Rage here on the thing, but the actual movie title credit itself says slasher. So at the start I was wondering if the film opens with a kind of film within a film, but it's not the case at all. It's just actually titled slasher on the print rather than Blood Rage, so I'm not sure what the story is with the different names. But anyway, and Arrow have titled the longer cut even a different title, where they called it something Nightmare at Shadow Woods, which is the kind of unit complex that the film is set in. So the film starts with the drive-in, and there's a single mother going to the drive-in with some guy and her 2 boys are sleeping in the back. When the mum starts making out, the boys slip out the back door and start walking around, and one of them ends up killing a dude making love to his girlfriend in the car, but then splashes the blood on his brother and gives him the axe, so it looks like that his brother was actually the one who did it. And the brother's just in this catatonic state and can't speak for himself. Jump forward 10 years later, and after 10 years of therapy, this boy's actually able to get to the point where he's remembering what actually happened that night and that his brother is the killer. So one Thanksgiving, after his mum comes to visit him, he actually escapes and goes to find his family. I guess to confront them or find out the truth. Anyway, but so that same night, the mother announces that she's engaged to this manager of the unit complex that they live at, and this sets the other psycho brother off, and I guess he's uses the escape of his twin brother as a convenient excuse to go around killing people. So yeah, you know, if that's your kind of film, I think it does a pretty good job of it. Yeah, I think the guy playing the twin brothers, just the one actor doing double role, he's I think he's doing a reasonable job for a cheap 80s slasher film of playing the role of 2 people. The kills are not necessarily inventive, but are fun. Fun special effect kills kind of thing, so that's all good. Yeah, you know, it's not going to win any awards, but it fills the role of a slasher film admirably. So then I slipped into Ready or Not, which is a rewatch. I did see it at the cinema. I enjoyed it well enough at the cinema that I wanted to buy it, but I wasn't. I was kind of thinking maybe I was on the edge of whether I should have or not. Anyway, I'm really glad I did. It's really quite fun. It's kind of almost the inversion of a slasher, where instead of one person killing multiple people, it's a family hunting this one girl. But yeah, it just felt like keeping the horror train rolling last night. So perhaps it's got some kind of commentary about how the rich are terrible. But that, I mean, that's really window dressing. I'm not sure the film really works as a social commentary as much as people want to read it. I mean, it's just window dressing. Really, it's just a fun chase horror film. So there's this girl who's kind of been raised through foster families, doesn't have a real sense of family. And she meets a guy who's the heir to this board game empire. And they're getting married. So this film is basically set on the wedding day and takes place over that night. So this guy's been avoiding his family, and kind of find out why, because they're a bunch of Satan worshipping cultists who sacrifice goats and, when the occasion arises, people. So back in their past, the grandfather made a deal with some guy who was obviously Satan or a demon, and whenever someone new joins their family, they have to play a game. And if they end up drawing this one card, hide and seek, then they have to hide and the family has to hunt them and kill them. The husband failed to mention this previously to getting married, so it kind of comes as a bit of a surprise to Samara Weaving's character. I can't remember her name for some reason, because I'm old, don't pay that much attention, I guess. But Samara Weaving is great while we're on the subject. So recently, I've seen her in Ready or Not, but also Bill and Ted Face the Music. She's one of the kids in that, and she's great. So I was going through, just looking at her filmography last night to see if there's anything else that makes me want to see all her films, but nothing really stands out. But I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on whatever she does going forward. These last two films have been excellent. So she's the bride, and she ends up kind of being hunted by all the family members, and I won't go through the rest, but it's fun, it's enjoyable. I don't know if it's scary, it's fun. I guess maybe there's some tension when she's getting hunted and stuff, and there's some gross things, and there's one bit which really winces. Has been shot through the hand and puts it on a nail, and you really feel that. And just kind of good comedy with the family. These just people who are rich, who are handling all these old weapons with no idea of what they're doing and stuff. So there's actually a fair bit of comedy involved in that, but really good. And just such a great aesthetic, with the wedding dress and the Converse and the bandolier of elephant gun ammunition. It's a great look. So I recommend Ready or Not. One thing I was going to say, if Gouchy is watching, Blood Rage, I think you'd like the soundtrack quite a lot. Very 80s synth, quite good. One complaint, I guess, maybe with Ready or Not is just it looks great, but when you see in the special features the costumes that they're wearing and then the colours that actually appear on the screen, there's a marked difference just because of the colour grading they did. There's one guy's wearing this lovely blue shirt, but in the movie it's just this kind of really muted blue, not quite grey, but getting there. So that's a pity, but overall, the look of it is quite good. All right, so I might flip this chair and see how we go. Getting ready. I should put these legs back on. tilt the camera down. And get a great view. Let's see how that feels. Wow. Something is definitely off. That leg is shorter. Is there a difference? Yeah. Front leg is a different height. Okay. Anyway, that'll do, eh?